Eastern Cape, because if no significant rains fall in the Nelson Mandela Bay in the Eastern Cape, it could become the first city to run out of water as the drought deepens in that province. The Mpofu Dam, which is the Metro's second main supply dam, is just 16.5% full and it can no longer supply water. The ChurchHill Dam is now at 100.21% and the overflow is spilling over to the Mpofu Dam, the biggest dam in that metro, or at least that supplies that metro. So combined levels in the metro stand at 34%. Let's take a look.
All right, thanks very, very much, Sakina. Well, I think you've given quite a glimpse into what's happening in the province. And in fact, we have a report for that. We've got an insert that we're going to play for you to talk about what's actually happening when it comes to this water devastation within the Eastern Cape. And you talk about the Mpofu Dam, which is the Metro's second main supply dam. It's just 16.5% full. This, of course, is the Nelson Mandela Bay. And if rains don't fall soon, that situation could turn out to look like this situation. We are coming to you from, this is the SABC district municipality, and of course all of this falling in the Beyers-Naudé local municipality. That's where we are broadcasting from this morning, and we're going to keep talking to issues that are affecting this municipality. But before we get into that conversation, just let's take a look at the greater province and see exactly what is going on with the dam levels there.
Mpofu Dam at an all-time low. The metro can no longer extract water as dam levels have fallen below the lowest intake point, leaving the municipality unable to supply 35 million litres of water to the city and the surrounding areas. The rainfall over the weekend in the Nelson Mandela Bay metro has resulted in the ChurchHill Dam, one of the metro's water supply dams, overflowing. The Kocha Dam is at 32% capacity.
We're promoting 50 litres per person per day, and depending on the size of your household, we'd like to encourage our residents to actually stick to that limit, because then there is more left for everybody to share, and then we can, as it is to say, ride the drought until the big rains come again. We have to add some good rains now, but as you can see, the Mpofu Dam is still sitting at 16.5%, and therefore we still have a long way to go for this dam also to fill up.
Now, we've been tracking municipal officials going to the various dams in the metro and looking at the severity. Using about 289 million litres of water, they're trying to bring that down to 250 million litres, and also urging residents to use 50 litres per day. As it stands, there are some residents in the metro that are using 1,000 litres, and our dams are simply running dry. The metro has sought intervention from the National Department of Water and Sanitation for funding to establish a desalination plant.
We're engaging Kocha, where we're saying let us build a desalination plant. But on top of building the desalination plant, we're saying what we can be able to do immediately. We must also use the mobile truck, where they can be able to take water from the sea, they can take water from any dam, from the rivers, where they can quickly clean the water as they are moving. We're saying those are the plans which we have put in place as a municipality.
Municipalities across the province, including Sarah Bartman, Chris Hani, Amatole and Alfred Nzo, have been declared drought disaster areas. The Eastern Cape Department of Rural Development and Agrarian Reform has set aside 74 million rand to assist the farming community in the province. The department says the relief is targeting subsistence and commercial emerging livestock farmers.
Well, there you go, just giving you a bigger picture of what is actually going on in the whole of the province, and we'll continue to focus in on that. But right now, where we're broadcasting from is the Mpofu Dam, and this is a site that I don't think you can actually put into words, and only a photograph or these visuals can make you understand how bad things are here. I mean, that wall that you sort of saw as you came to us, that wall behind me was, you know, that's the level that the dam was at, I think. How many years ago? About 2011, 2012, it was overflowing. And here we are in 2019, there's not a single drop of water in this entire dam. Now, I want to talk to the guests that we've assembled here for us this morning that are going to talk to different segments of the community and what they're going through. So let me introduce them to you. First up, I've got Dave Stern. He's from the Sierbach Agricultural Association. I've got Zola Khanabe, who is an emerging farmer. A very important conversation that we've got to have about emerging farmers and farmers in general. Ali Sable, the gift of the givers, who have stepped up to the plate and they're doing a superb job in helping the community here in the area. Derek Light, he's from the Graafrenet Economic Development Forum. We've got Ivor Barrington, who's from the Beyers-Naudé local municipality, the representative here, as well as Pen Kuberg, who also is from the Beyers-Naudé local municipality and representing the ANC as well. So good to have all of you. Thanks very, very much for being our guests on the program and hopefully talking to how we landed up here, but what we're going to do to try and push through and make this a positive story. Just also to tell you in the background, I haven't actually referred to them as yet. It's a group of protesters that have gathered here in the broadcast, but they are more against fracking. So they're an anti-fracking association talking to not wanting to drill for gas in the area and also climate activists. So if we have time during the broadcast, we certainly will give them a bit of attention. But right now we need to talk to the water situation. So Dave, let's begin with you and where we are and what's happened here. I mean, give us a little bit of background from you now. I mean, this is the Agricultural Association. This is an agricultural mecca. How are things looking?
Yeah, morning, Leanne. Firstly, I'd just like to put it on record that I'm actually from Sneeuberg Agricultural Association, which is we farm north of Graafrenet up in the Sneeuberg Mountains, which is basically the catchment area for this dam. And you know, we've been since 2014. We've been under severe pressure, or that's when the rain, but you know, the sort of our general rains pretty much sort of ceased to come. We've had bits and pieces along the way, but nothing that's been significant enough to bring the rivers down. And that is the reason why it looked like this. So, as I say, if this is looking like this, imagine what it's looking like up there. Imagine what our try and picture what our farmers are going through. You know, as I say, we're dealing with guys that we're looking at guys that are going into depression. We're looking at that. We're looking at animals that are dying. You know, I'm dealing with drought forms and things like that on a regular basis. You know, government just don't seem to come to the party with these things. We fill out forms and we fill out forms and we fill out forms, and I'm sure my colleague Zola here will go along with that. But yet nothing is forthcoming from the Eastern Cape government, let alone from National Treasury.
What are these forms you're filling out? I mean, what are
these
you
forms
asking?
are basically drought assessments. Okay. And you know, it's taken our province since 2014 till now, and we were only declared drought disaster sort of the last month or two.
When did it last rain here, as a matter of interest? I've heard things like the last rain was 5 years ago.
The last
general
rain was around about that. 2014 was the last time that we actually had decent rain where anything flowed into the dam.
So anybody born after 2014 has never experienced rain in this area?
Not like we've had. You know, we're sitting with on average up until the beginning of this year 100 millimeters below average of rainfall, and our average varies between 300 and 400 millimeters a year. So we're sitting on sort of 300 millimeters. With this year, you know, slow death, as we call the drought, it has really gripped. I mean, we're sitting at pretty much less than a third of our rainfall that we've had all year this year.
David, it's quite alarming, but I want to come here to Ivor from the municipality, and then we'll come to the emerging farmers. These forms that are being filled out, and the community are writing, the farmers are writing, they're filling out for assessments. What happens to them?
I really don't know. We just get them and we sign them as a municipality saying that we are declared a disaster area.
Yeah.
Dave and I were discussing it earlier on. The forms are just arriving. So from the municipality side, we are just supporting the farmers.
Okay. So those forms, where do they go?
The applicants take them back with them and take them to the department.
Leon, I can answer that. They supposedly meant to. We fill them in. The owner of the farm signs them. I, as the chairman of the district area, signs them. Then the extension officer must sign them, and then the district director must sign them. And then they're supposed to go in for assessment and so on. And this is where the thing seems to be falling apart, because I don't think that we have. This drought is a new thing, so I don't think we have the necessary expertise in there to be forwarding these things on.
Yeah.
And I mean, last year they took because of certain reasons, they took back 4.7 million rand that should have gone to the farmers. Yeah. And I mean, that didn't even get out to the farmers, so they're now trying to get that out. And we've been told there's another 14.7 million that's been made available, but the process takes too long for these things to get into place and for the relief to come. If it wasn't for civic organizations like Gift of the Givers, Drought met Burger and Drought SA, the farmers would be absolutely destitute in this country. And it's for that reason that we as a South African country can be so proud of our citizens, because it's our citizens that have given hope and have given assistance to the agricultural sector, because our governments certainly have not done that in any way whatsoever.
All right, let's go to our emerging farmer, Zola. And Zola, from your perspective, obviously we've heard Dave, and I think your narrative or story would be very, very similar to what Dave is saying. But give us the perspective from the emerging farmer. What is the situation looking like for you?
Thank you. Morning to all the viewers and the panel. Yes, with us as the emerging farmers, it's even worse, because we have only few animals that we are farming with, and being emerging farmers, you can imagine to lose cattle or animals from the few that you have. For instance, I've lost about 9 cattle. I've lost 9 cattle, and which means it's my whole profit that I've lost. And the cause, of course, it is the drought. We cannot blame anybody, but we can blame squarely the drought, of which we need to pray. Furthermore, with the instance of the community also, those who are living under the mountain, on the foot of the mountain, they are not getting water regularly. Water should be cut sometimes, and that has a negative impact on the people.
So there should be, from what you're saying, I mean, there needs to be more organization and more distribution, equal distribution, as opposed to those in the low-lying areas.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why we are happy about what Gift of the Givers have done. And it should not be only the gift of the givers, it should be also people who have the means of supporting and helping the people out.
Example, national government, what are they doing?
National government,
what has
provincial
national
government and local government.
What have they done? What has national government done that you know of? Go for it, please. Derek?
It's Derek, yeah.
Derek, would you give him the microphone there? Thanks. Okay,
Oh,
Derek,
thank you. I'd like to talk about the significance of the impact of on the economy generally as a consequence of the drought. But I think we need to say this, is that there are solutions being sought. We've become involved, the municipality has an initiative aimed at getting all the role players together, including government, to address the water crisis, for example, in Graafreinet town and its residents. So the Department of Water Affairs, the Department of Environmental Affairs, the municipality, the district municipality and the private sector have come together to partner in seeking solutions. And the exciting things happening, and I think the difficulty with subsidies to farmers, I think that needs to be addressed urgently. I would like to come back to the solutions later if I have an opportunity.
I will also want to talk about
but I want
we'll
to talk
get
about
more
the
uplifting,
impact.
but I want to talk now how we got
here. I want you to understand the Karoo, the bigger Karoo, produces traditionally more than 50% of South Africa's red meat. It's the biggest producer of mohair in the world. It's one of the biggest producers of wool in the world.
Yeah.
The impact of the drought on stock numbers is significant. And therefore on food security to this country is significant. And government needs to recognize that and assist farmers. The Karoo region sustains has tens of thousands of people employed in agriculture. It sustains over 1 million people. It's a significant industry, and when it's under pressure like we're experiencing now, it impacts on the towns and the other business people that service that industry.
Absolutely, and that's a big issue.
Yes.
Are job losses in this industry. I mean, if
It's
you've lost
massive.
9 cattle, you cannot afford to keep all of your employees. You're an emerging farmer. How many jobs have been lost in the agricultural
I
sector?
don't know what that is, but it's significant. You know, if you go,
Dave, you know, obviously.
Yes, you talk job losses, dealing with the drought forms that I have to look through and assess that they're right. I mean, you're looking at, farmers that have destocked by nearly 2/3 of their stock on their farm. So, their income is not there anymore. And that's going to put, the next thing is that they've got to cut labor. And that's the scary part, because that then is going to put pressure on the local towns.
Okay. Gift of the Givers, I mean, we're going up to the news, and you really are the good news story here, because you stepped up to the plate and you are helping this community. How did you get involved?
Okay, Leanne, we first got involved in the Eastern Cape on February with Makanda. When we were Makanda, we had Adelaide calling us. We responded to Adelaide, Bedford, and then 3 months ago, Dr. Imtiaz Suleiman, our chairman, told us, keep an eye on Graaff-Reinet, things are not going well there. 1st of October, we moved into this town with bottled water. We brought our hydrologists with to come look for water at the schools in the underprivileged areas. When we pulled into the area, we found the commercial farmers, the emerging farmers waiting for us as well. We experienced this in many of the drought-stricken areas, where not only man is suffering, but animals as well. As David said, agriculture is one of the biggest forms of employment in the Eastern Cape. If the farmers lose their farms, we are talking about hundreds and thousands of people getting unemployed. I've listened to Dave saying about the forms being filled and sent to the necessary departments. Why should that happen? What's the definition? Don't they understand the definition of drought? Some of them have been into these areas, see what's happening on the ground, and still there's meetings after meetings, but fruitless. Farmers are getting worse off. Look at a town like Sutherland in the Northern Cape. 3 years ago, they had 400,000 sheep in the area. They're sitting today with only 40,000 sheep. A town like Fraserburg, where first the commercial banks closed down, all the big supermarkets closed down. We found schools closing down. The town is now a ghost town. We have found that the farm workers are unemployed. Calvinia last week we had an intervention. 3 years ago, we took food parcels to farm workers. This time around, we had 600 farmers standing in the line for food parcels who could not provide food on the table. So Gift of the Givers, we're in this town on a daily basis, taking water around with water tankers and bottles of water to communities as well.
Yeah, I'm going to speak more to Gift of the Givers, but you want to add something?
Yes, Leanne, from Gift of the Givers side, as far as the municipality is concerned, we had excellent assistance from Dr. Gideon Groenewald. He did a study here 20 years ago, a borehole study. And the first thing when he came in here, he said, do you know about the 4 holes I drilled 20 years ago? And we found those holes. And we're actually developing in now, and they are very strong boreholes. So with that knowledge of Dr. Gideon Groenewald, it's been unbelievable assistance from our side.
That's incredible. But my answer or my question, I suppose, Pen, maybe I can bring you into the conversation just before we go to the news. I know we've got about 2 minutes. Should Gift of the Givers be doing something like this? I mean, shouldn't we see government coming in here and doing what the Gift of the Givers are doing?
Thank you very much. I want to correct certain things. It's not as if government is not doing anything. First, they declare this area of Sarah Apartment, Bayesnodia included, as a drought-sticking area.
And they declared it when? Just remind me. This year. But this has been going on for... this has been going on for 5 years.
If you can allow me.
No, I will, but I'm just getting facts straight.
If you can allow me.
Dave, no, you hang on a sec, I'll get back to you. But just, it was declared in September, but this has been going on for a long time. So, okay, that's the first thing government did.
So, we receive as a municipality, as a local municipality, 30 million rand.
Right.
We are again in a process of applying for more funds because it's open again. That's the second bench of declaring, this area drought-stricken area. Okay. So I wish to correct that one. Secondly, on the issue of, and there's currently a statement out from the Department Agriculture that something of 57 million rand has been set aside. Closing date for that for farmers and any other person to apply for it is the 22nd, which is so this coming Friday, where they can apply for it. That is a type of intervention that government is doing. I've received all this information in a district-wide infrastructure meeting where all this information was shared, where departments were responsible. But let me expand on the issue of what we are doing locally as a municipality, because it's where I ought to speak from.
Yeah.
We have established on the 8th of October with all stakeholders, all relevant departments, a joint operation committee led by the mayor. Now, last week we had a meeting where we said certain technocrats from these departments will come together not later by the 22nd. I was just confirming now with Derek that their first meeting is this coming Friday.
Where is the mayor, if I may ask?
The mayor is around here.
Where is he? Is that the mayor?
Yes.
Lovely.
Yes.
I'm so glad you arrived because we need you in this broadcast. You're going to come into the broadcast. Good, because we had news that the mayor wasn't going to come, but I'm so glad the mayor's here so we can ask you the questions directly as opposed to a third party. Carry on.
So I was basically saying as to what we're having in plans. We're having quite a number of prayer services. That's the type of cooperation that we're having with religious people.
Yeah.
Even on Sunday we had one. And we are saying that in order to get rain, that is basically the purpose of those type of prayer services that are taking place. We are trying to educate as far as possible through pamphlets, through posters as to how to sparingly, use water.
Okay.
And that is what I need to, amongst others, the intervention that the local government is doing.
Fair enough. We're going to talk more to that. In fact, I'm so glad the mayor's here. We can bring him in as well. And the panelists are all staying. We're on until 9 o'clock this morning. So we're going to talk a lot about this situation. And my fear is that prayers at this time, perhaps a little bit too late as we're standing in a dam to pray for rain, whereas this education drive should have happened many, many years ago of how to save water, because now we're trying to fix a situation that perhaps didn't have to land up like this. But we're going to talk about this and a lot more on the broadcast. Do stay tuned. I believe it's already 2 minutes past 8 here on the program. Let's get you the latest news.
Otherwise we will look like as if we are